Once upon a time, in the western part of the country, there was a town named Elodun. Elodun was a peaceful town, well known for its fertile land and kind-hearted people. The people of Elodun lived peacefully among each other, and it was never recorded that they went to war with other neighboring villages. In the outskirts of the town, there lived a very beautiful girl named Aderonke. Aderonke lived with her blind sister. They had lost their parents few years back and were poor, but due to the kind nature of the people of Iludun, Aderonke and her sister were able to feed themselves. Aderonke, not wanting to be a burden on others, resorted to doing menial jobs like helping farmers milk their cows and selling fruit and vegetables in the market. With that, Aderonke and her sister were able to feed themselves without seeking for help. Aderonke, despite her condition, was a very good girl. She helped those who were in need, ranging from helping old women fetch water from the stream and giving small children in the community treats. On a fateful day, while she was coming back from the stream, she saw the king, who was taking his occasional stroll with his guard. On getting close to him, she greeted him respectfully and was set to continue her journey. When the king, who was captivated by her beauty, asked her to stop, he asked what her name was and where she lived, in which she answered truthfully. On getting home, she told her sister of her encounter with the king. Her sister was scared, but she told her sister not to worry since she had done nothing wrong. After some days, the king guard came to her house and told her of the king's intentions to marry her, and has made preparation on how her sister is going to be taken care of if she marries him. Since in their tradition, once a king asks for a lady's hand in marriage, she has no right to object if only she was pregnant. Since Adironke wasn't pregnant, she immediately accepted and followed them to the palace. On getting to the palace, she instantly became the king's favorite wife among the three other wives the king had. The third wife of the king, Queen Aderonke, became jealous. Such was the tradition of the people of Iludun, that the king's wife were allowed to stroll once every week around the town. While on this occasional stroll, people who knew Aderonke were cheering her up and shouting her name, making her so happy. This made Aderonke even more furious because nobody ever gave her that attention as the king's wife. One day, Queen Aderonke embarked on a journey to the neighboring town to meet a popular sorceress. The sorceress gave her a magic powder to add into Queen Aderonke's water, that when Aderonke uses the water to bathe, she will become blind. It was the belief of the town that anyone that wasn't born with any disability become disabled. Such a person was evil and the gods had punished he or she. So the person would be taken to the evil forest and left to die. She also gave Queen Aderonke a warning that the curse would be broken if Queen Aderonke gives birth, and whenever Queen Aderonke set her eyes on Queen Aderonke will run mad. Getting home, she asked Queen Aderonke if she was pregnant, and she replied no. So she secretly added the powder into Queen Aderonke's water. The next day, as Adironke was taking her bath, she noticed her eyes were itchy. Immediately, she called for help. Before she knew what was happening, she became blind. The king, with heavy heart, had to command her taken to the evil forest, since it was the tradition of the town. Adironke was taken to the evil forest and left to die there. She wandered many days, using her hand to make way for herself. After wandering many days in the forest, an old woman saw her and remembered her as the girl who helped her many years ago in the town. She narrated her ordeal to the woman, who took her in and cared for her. She then told Adironke that she was from the neighboring town and was sent to the forest because she was believed to be a witch, since her husband and her children died due to a strange illness, and since then she has been living in the forest. After several weeks of staying in the forest, when Adironke began to show signs of fever, she was always throwing up. Then the old woman confirmed that she was pregnant. After 9 months, Adironke gave birth to a baby boy. Immediately the baby cried. Adironke's eyes were clear and she began to see again. She was so happy she decided to go back to the town. When she got to the palace, people who saw her began to shout in excitement. Queen Adironke came out to see why people were shouting, then saw Queen Adironke. Immediately she confessed her sin and ran mad. She was taken to the evil forest. The king was happy to see his beloved wife and his son, since his only son had died several months ago. Immediately, the king held a big feast to welcome his wife and his son. They lived happily ever after. Moral of the story: every action has consequences, and we should be mindful of the things we do, whether good or bad. It will eventually catch up with us. Bye.